The woman parked her white Lexus across my gravel driveway like she was staking a flag for the empire of Queen Meredith. She stepped out, heels clicking against the ranch soil like it was a fashion runway, raised a glossy paper above her head, and declared in a voice brimming with misguided authority, "I'm here to inspect my new property. Please move your tractor." At first, I thought it was a joke. Maybe one of those YouTube prank channels was filming nearby. But then she pointed toward my house, my barn, and even my cows, and said with absolute conviction, "Yes, this entire ranch. I bought it last night on Facebook Marketplace." There I stood, holding a bucket of chicken feed, trying to process whether to laugh or call the sheriff. She strutted past me like she'd done this before, like she'd succeeded at this before. I've dealt with coyotes, flash floods, even a bull in my living room once. But this was new. She introduced herself as Meredith, claimed she had acquired the property through alternative legal channels. When I asked to see paperwork, she handed me what looked like a low-resolution PDF printed from a Pinterest tax blog. The document had typos, my name was butchered, and the ranch's acreage was listed as 40 Laban. Still, she stood there, sunglasses too large for her face, plastic folder under her arm, brimming with the confidence of someone who'd sue God if she didn't get her way. She told me to move the tractor because a survey team was coming that afternoon. I said no. She pouted like a child. Then she did the most Meredith thing possible. She parked her Lexus diagonally across my tractor path and locked it, then walked away humming like she'd won a raffle. I called Sheriff Ramirez. While waiting, I went back to feeding the animals, eyes constantly drawn to the Lexus still sitting there like a monument to delusion. She returned 20 minutes later, sipping an iced coffee and taking selfies in front of my barn. "I'll be putting this up for short-term rentals," she said. "Ma'am," I said, holding back every ounce of sarcasm, "that's a feed shed." She gasped. "That attitude is why I'm reorganizing this community. The previous owner clearly didn't understand this property's potential. I am the previous owner. Then you'll be hearing from my legal advisor." That's when Sheriff Ramirez arrived, gravel crunching beneath his cruiser. He stepped out, one hand on his belt, the other massaging his temples like he felt the headache before it started. "Afternoon, ma'am," he said. "Can you explain why you're on Mr. Brooks' property?" Meredith immediately launched into a speech about real estate corruption, government overreach, and her YouTube law education. Ramirez glanced through her documents, then handed them back. "Ma'am, this is a Zillow screenshot with crayon on it." She gasped again. "I demand to speak to a higher authority." "I am the higher authority." She turned, stomped to her car, opened the door, then slammed it again. "I'm not moving. This is now a civil matter." "No, it's trespassing," Ramirez replied. "Which means I can have you removed." She crossed her arms. "Then I'll sue for emotional damage, harassment, and land theft." "Ma'am, that's not a thing. It will be when my lawyer hears about this." As Ramirez radioed for a tow truck, Meredith sat on the hood of her Lexus and began live streaming. She dubbed herself Meredith the Land Redeemer and painted my ranch as an illegal operation. The next night, after the sheriff had her car towed, I spotted her again, this time at the edge of my property line with 3 others. One carried a folding table, another a tape measure. Meredith held a sign that read, "Future site of Meadowlight Acres HOA Welcome Center." By morning, she had set up shop near the main road. Lawn chairs, beach umbrella, clipboards. Behind her, a massive hand-painted sign read, "Welcome to Meadowlight Acres HOA, building community one ranch at a time." I approached, already tired. "Meredith, what the hell is this?" "Good morning. You're just in time. I'm onboarding new residents into the HOA program." The brochures showed manicured lawns and suburban fences. The fine print declared participation mandatory. "This isn't a zone. This is a ranch. And nobody agreed to your HOA." She gave me that customer service smile. "We're in the pilot stage. Once we finalize land rights, we'll move into enforcement." That word, enforcement. She handed me a new paper covered in clip art seals, claiming the land was undergoing conversion. "This is called hostile homesteading," she said proudly. "Legal in 3 states. We're not in those states." Details. She introduced her lawyer, a guy named Kyle in an ill-fitting suit. Kyle admitted he was working on a law certificate and explained they were invoking a frontier clause. By that afternoon, 5 of my chickens were missing, 3 hay bales were slashed, and my mailbox was flattened. The sheriff couldn't act without footage. I installed trail cams that night. It didn't take long. At 10:07 p.m., the motion sensors caught Meredith and her cronies breaking into my barn. One measured stalls. One took pictures. Meredith monologued about maximum occupancy. The next morning, I handed footage to the sheriff. "That's attempted conversion," he said. But Meredith wasn't slowing down. That Saturday, she hosted an open house on my land, complete with lemonade stand, drone tours, and brochures. I confronted her. "This is private property." "You're in the transitional zone," she replied. "There is no transitional zone." She clapped her hands. "Let's not get bogged down in legal drama." I stormed off, cut the padlock she installed on my gate, and relocked it. That night, I met with my cousin's wife, Annette, a real attorney. She reviewed everything. "Tax lien scam," she said. "Illegal. But she's got gall." We drafted a cease and desist. The next night, trail cams caught Meredith inside the barn again, this time installing a welcome mat, air freshener, and motivational poster. She'd moved in. When I called the sheriff, he sighed. "She's nesting now, huh?" He served the cease and desist personally. She claimed she'd earned pioneer rights. He told her this was an Oregon Trail. She had 48 hours to vacate. By night 2, the barn smelled like vanilla. She'd added fairy lights and plastic flowers. Then came the smoke. I ran out to find a pile of burning cardboard near the barn. Meredith stood with lighter fluid in hand. "It was cold," she said. "Controlled burn." She was arrested without incident. But it wasn't over. Within a week, a viral TikTok dubbed her Meredith the Ranch Queen. A reality show producer called. Tourists showed up. I got a letter. "I'll be back with lawyers." Then came her lawsuit. Emotional distress. Business interference. Community suppression. The court date arrived. Meredith represented herself. Her witnesses included a drone operator and a potluck organizer. The judge dismissed it in 15 minutes. I was awarded damages, legal fees, and a restraining order. But Meredith returned one last time. A folding chair. A sign. Asked me about land justice. The sheriff escorted her away. That was the end. I rebuilt the barn. Hung a mural. "No cars allowed." We threw a barbecue to celebrate. Even the sheriff sang karaoke. I installed stronger locks, sharper cameras, and placed one final sign at the gate. "Private ranch. Not for sale, not for stealing, not for squatting, not for stupid." She claimed she bought my ranch. She claimed she had rights. But in the end, the only truth that mattered was this: you can't steal land from someone who's ready to fight for every inch of it.